says, and I looked and I beheld a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud,
Whirlwind. Yep.
and a fire enfolding in itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof, as the color.
The chairs can change colors. Different colors. The movie Close Encounters.
Yep.
You know, you see the chairs changing all kind of colors, man. You know, you got the red, blues, you know, amber colors. All different type of colors, man.
That's bad.
Greens.
It says, and out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire, also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance.
Those are angels. 4 living creatures, the angels. You know?
They had the likeness of a man,
Likeness of a man.
and every one had 4 faces,
Let's go into like the attributes of the angels. You know, go ahead.
and every one had 4 wings, and their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot.
Yeah, so the angels got wings because when you read about the Ark of the Covenant, the Lord gave the Israelites, the priests, the Levites, basically, he told them to basically make the angels with wings, you know, as the likeness of man, you know.
And their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass. And they had the hands of a man under the wings of their 4 sides, and they 4
Angels had color to them. So-called dark-skinned men.
And there's even an account on YouTube. I think he was a pilot. He basically said while he was flying in the air, you know, a chariot. He basically said he described it as he went into sleep. But hey, in this vision or the encounter that he had, you know, he went into, you know, where the angels took him to a place, and he said they were all tall black men.
Yeah, it was Norman
Said
Berg.
like darkness and no
Like no black.
Yeah, his name was Norman Berg. The video's still up.
It says, and they had the hands of a man under their wings on their 4 sides, and they 4 had their faces and their wings. Their wings were joined one to another. They turned not when they went. They went every one straight forward. As for the likeness of their faces, they 4.
When it talks about them going forward, basically their spirit controls the chariot. We always bring up that example of that movie Avatar. They would hop on those what were those things called? I forget what they were called.
What?
Birds.
The dragon things that they would connect
Yeah,
their hair to.
big old little
I forgot
raptor
what they
little
call,
things,
yeah.
or whatever.
They look
you call
like
them.
not pterodactyls.
Yeah, kind.
Yeah.
Those.
But they would connect. They would have a connection with it, and they would be able
Oh,
to control
on,
and travel.
Take braids or whatever and plug it into
plug
there.
it in.
Yep.
So
Avatar.
that concept is similar. How the angels, they actually manipulated and basically
It's as if they're
Maneuvered the
they
chariots.
maneuver the chariots with their spirit. So if they want to go forward, the chariot's gonna go forward. If they want to go to the right, the chariot's gonna go right. You know, they don't need a steering wheel. They don't need a helm, so to speak.
They don't need they're not powered by fuel or gas or exhaust.
Just like how when we operate our chariots on Earth,
Motion, yeah.
totally different.
Yeah, we gotta maintain them. You know, put oil in them, change the belts, put gas in them. You know, clean out the interior, make it look good. No,
Right. Because the chariots wasn't made on Earth. A man didn't make what we see up there. Or else, you telling me that a man can create something that can defy the laws of physics?
Yeah.
Yeah, he ain't weaponized it yet.
You know
He
what I'm
can
saying?
do that. Yeah, right.
And they like tell this lie that the chariot crashed.
Yeah, kind
Yeah.
And
Well, that's a man-made chariot
Yeah.
if that's real.
chariot ain't.
If a chariot crashed, that definitely wasn't a chariot of the Lord.
Yeah.
His chariots are not going to crash, man.
yeah, that's Esau mimicking the chariots, man.
The chariot crashed and they captured the angel. I mean, you know.
The little green men or whatever, the grays or whatever they call them.
Roswell.
Yeah.
Ezekiel 10. I'm gonna start at verse 10. It says, and as for their appearances, they 4 had one likeness, as if a wheel had been in the midst of a wheel. When they went upon their 4 sides. They turned not as they went.
but to the place where the head looked, they followed it.
Yeah, there was no select, but there was like no real front of it. It just moved like say if this is a directional thing, it don't have to turn and go forward like a regular propulsion plane or whatever. It just goes that way. It just turns as the mind turns, like you turn in your head almost, but it doesn't have to actually fully turn. It just starts going in that direction as it wants to go. It's a whole different, it's like when you had those weird controllers, and you play those games or whatever, it's kind of like that, almost reverse. It just moves as you move it. Okay, just free world kind of movement.
Yeah, it's called, in like math, it's called a non-planar.
There you
Basically mean not confined by axes or, for example, they say X, Y, Z, which is basically Z is your vertical. It's like X is the horizontal, Y is your vertical, and Z is basically like another dimension. If you take the third plane.
Yeah, and it can create its own plane. Is what the point we're making. It's not confined to verticals. It didn't have to drop levels first. It can just go in that direction, up, down, all the directions. You know.
Yeah, the acceleration itself of these.
Right. Speed of light.
Vehicles.
Speed of light.
You know?
Acceleration.
It's instantaneously. It ain't no 160 in 3 seconds. No, this is 100 to 100,000 miles in a second.
Less.
You know?
Yeah.
Like that, instant.
They said the chariot went from outer space to sea level in less than a second.
Yeah, it's like speed.
Yeah.
What's that
Faster
guy?
than the speed of light.
What's that the most known the highest level physicist guy, deGrasse or whatever?
Neil Tyson deGrasse.
Right? He said some shit on Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan looked like I need to hit the blunt or something. That's how he looked. He said basically there's something faster than the speed of light. He says the speed of space or some shit like that. Right? And I was like, yep, I just scrolled right then. I caught what he said, but I was like, I'm not about to go into that.
The chariots are like faster than like what they call light years.
Yeah,
because when they travel in space, you know how it's the movies they show in space how you go from one here to here and then it'd be like 50 years.
Yeah,
you know, like a motherfucker be in space for 2 seconds and then come back down. It's 100 years in
In
past.
the movie Interstellar.
Yeah, exactly.
When Matthew McConaughey went to another planet, age 7 years.
Yeah.
Like in like a minute or something.
Yeah. It's like 7 minutes or something. Yeah.
The chariots aren't confined to like time, sound, or space.
Yeah.
This is a little more. He said, continuing on, he says they turned not as they went, as their whole body and their backs and their hands and their wings and the wheels were full of eyes round about, even the wheels that they forehead.
Now now not to make this into an angle or a doctrine of belief, that you just want to solely focus on what the church can do. It's just here to describe to you that this is something that's not earthly. This is a minor show of the power of the Heavenly Father, who we are to serve. So we can be blessed with that type of power, or you can be destroyed with that type of power. Okay, not to be hinging on how the chariots move or the angels themselves, but the power of the Father that we serve has that type of power to create such things. Okay, so you don't want to mess with somebody with that type of power.
That's why you're supposed to fear him.
Here you go.
Well, the fear, man. The fear is beginning of wisdom. The fear of the Lord is beginning of wisdom, man. How you fear the Most High and the Son? Following the law, statutes, commandments to the best of your ability, man. Doing what he says to do, man.
And it's lucky, but we're bringing this out so you can understand that this stuff is explained to us. A small detail of this stuff is explained to us through the scriptures, so we don't forget the level of power that we're dealing with here. There's none greater than the power of the Heavenly Father.
That's right.
Okay? There's no ending and no beginning to it. So we're just subject to what he's got going on down here. So in a large scheme of things, yeah, we're showing you how he gave his only begotten Son this power, and that we have the opportunity, so to speak, to receive that type of power if we're of the elect, of course, right? Lord willing. So just so you people don't get caught up in the wrong idea of what we're talking about, we're still talking about that this glory and this power is going to come to the earth with problems for a lot of people on the earth, and with salvation for a remnant upon the earth. Okay? Yeah, got it.
Exodus 37, start at verse 1. It says, and Bezalel made the ark of shittim wood, 2 cubits and a half was the length of it, and a cubit and a half the breadth of it, and a cubit and a half the height of it. And
yeah, it's going into the Ark of the Covenant. You know, the Lord gives us specific instructions, you know, how to build it.
Verse 2, and he overlaid it with pure gold within and without, and made a crown of gold to it round about. And he cast for it 4 rings of gold to be set by the 4 corners of it, even 2 rings upon the one side of it, and 2 rings upon the other side of it. And he made staves of shittim wood and overlaid them with gold. And he put,
you know that's how they have those 2 longer stakes and staffs that go through it to hold it. So in the spiritual, when I'm thinking about it, because they're not actually supposed to touch. I'm talking about the men aren't supposed to touch the Ark of the Covenant.
Now if you were
it's
a
like
Levite,
right, yeah, that touch.
Levite, don't touch.
Thought it was gonna fall, right? So they put it through there, and you kind of hold it away from you on those sticks that were laid with gold. Yeah, it's just a. But the point is, the Most High is particular about the things that he instructs us to do things.
Precise details.
Yeah, he wants the details followed through. Right? You got it, bro.
verse 5, and he put the staves into the rings by the sides of the ark to bear the ark.
Yep.
And he made the mercy seat of pure gold. 2 cubits and a half was the length thereof, and 1 cubit and a half the breadth thereof. And he made 2 cherubims of gold, beaten out of one piece made he them.
Now the cherubims go into the angel.
On the 2 ends of the mercy seat, 1 cherub on the end on this side, and another cherub on the other end on that side. Out of the mercy seat made he the cherubims on the 2 ends thereof.
I gotta throw something out there to y'all brothers standing on the outside. Y'all listening, right? Y'all heard what he was reading, right? It's describing him, giving him the instruction on how to build the Ark of the Covenant. And what he's basically describing is you're gonna have a cherub which is an angel on one side and an angel on the other side of the ark, right? Through extrapolation, what did that foreshadow? Just think about it. An angel at the feet and an angel at the head.
Oh, yeah.
What is that? What event was that? No.
Nobody got nothing?
Huh?
The King David?
Nope. No?
No. Michael and Yahweh?
Nope. Basically, if you go into the account when Yahweh Shai was placed in his sepulcher, his tomb, it said that there was an angel rested at his foot and at his head, showing you that the Lord represented the mercy seat. Yahweh Shai was going to be the one through his sacrifice that Israel was going to receive mercy.
So the Lord represented, what was that?
Mercy.
The mercy seat of the Ark of the Covenant.
Okay.
All right?
And now, and see, not to go into it too deep, but simply to expound on what you're talking about, it kind of goes into that in Hebrews, when it starts going to, it used to be a Levitical thing.
The 8th chapter?
And then from the 8th all the way back to like the 5th. We're talking about Melchizedek and all of that.
Because it's going into the Holy of Holies.
Right.
Which nobody was able to enter into there but the priest.
Right, and then now our high priest Yahweh Shai is the one that's going to
Where's that account at?
It's in the Gospels, isn't it?
Yeah.
Two angels sitting.
Go to somebody can get it real quick and we'll definitely.
It's Matthew.
No. This is what this is for. This is what this is for.
Matthew.
Yeah, it was Matthew.
Because this understanding wouldn't be known if it wasn't Yahweh Shai, man. Right. Yahweh Shai giving his body as a living sacrifice to die for the nation of Israel, man. You know?
Wait till the book of Matthew.
First the elect.
Yeah, hold on real quick.